please subscribe, like, comment, and turn on the notification button so you are aware of our future episodes that you will love so much. Hello everyone, welcome again to the Film Biz Show, and as promised, we have exciting conversations lined up for you. Today we're talking to Lisa Walker, the Managing Director of Operations for Prosper Africa, and we're talking all things investments in the African continent. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome the wonderful Miss Lisa Walker.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Lovely to be with you.
Thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
It really is an honor and a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you.
Yeah, but Lisa, tell me, how long have you been in South Africa, and how long has Prosper Africa been here?
So I've been in South Africa, based in Johannesburg, for about 4 years.
Okay.
Prosper Africa has been around since 2017, actually, but it's really just starting to get its traction now. It's a U.S. presidential initiative, so it comes right out of the White House. It's part of the strategy for Africa. It's part of what the president often says, that the United States is all in on Africa.
Yeah.
So we have a number of priority sectors where we look to boost two-way trade and investment on a very transformative level. So more than we've been able to do with individual programs or individual agencies. And the creative sector and the film business is one of the sectors that we're very excited about, and that we see a lot of new collaboration coming and a lot of hopefully success stories.
Yeah, I know. We know programs such as Algoa that have been, the topic of many conversations in the country.
Yes.
Do you guys oversee such, or your mandate is different?
No, AGOA is a very big part of our trade initiatives.
Yeah.
So yes, AGOA is really, I think it's over the last 24 years been transformative. It can be more transformative, and that's what we're looking for in the coming years. And I don't know yet if this is going to work for film, but what we're doing on the AGOA side is we're addressing demand. So in the past, for many, many years, we capacitated African suppliers or producers to figure out the American market, to get the best they could be, and then we've left them on their own. Now we're going and we're capturing American demand, consumer demand, and retail demand, and we're matching it. And so we're able to aggregate right now for retail business. So I don't know about film yet, but for the retail business, we can link suppliers with 20,000 retailers like Walmart, Costco, Target, some of the big places. So we're doing demand pull instead of just pushing supply. So I'm very happy that that's one of the ways that we're changing the model on trade.
That's really amazing.
Yeah.
But with regards to the business of film, what loopholes or have you kind of seen, and what challenges do you think you guys can come in and try and mitigate and help with?
So we're learning the sector to a certain extent. We're definitely picking up how critical it is to have access to finance, and that financing gap, especially for independent producers. So what I understand in the US, because the film industry has been around and successful for such a long time, banks like JP Morgan and Citi have products specifically for the film sector. Then that's not here. So one of the things that we want to do is work with our banking partners to see if we can't replicate film units and film products, banking products here. So working with the banking sector would be one way that we'd like to help. Another way is we work with a lot of venture capital groups, and we work with a number of impact funds. And so we want to make sure that we're finding a pipeline of projects that we're introducing to them. So again, that matchmaking piece, that is like one of the best parts of our job. And then another way is we're crowding in very big capital. That's one of our goals, is to crowd in up to $1 trillion of the assets under management around the globe into the African market. And so that's kind of high net worth individuals, family offices, pension funds. So they're looking for funds and bigger opportunities, but we're seeing funds targeted to the creative sector propping up in many, many places. In Kenya, here, we're also trying to support that ecosystem of funds.
There's a narrative, that goes like film in Africa is not profitable. there is no money
Yet.
to be made yet. What do you think is needed to basically unlock that and take it to the level in which an industry like yours in America is? What do you think is the missing piece and the missing link? Is it just access to finance, or maybe it could be how the actual business is being run, as opposed to how it's being run in America?
It's been really interesting today. I've looked at this question from a couple of viewpoints just in this one day, which is interesting. So as Steve Harvey said, it's a question of getting together, and then it's a question of the collaboration. So it's matchmaking. I really, and he said, what I really appreciated is that African film and African cinema, it's inevitable that it's going to be hugely successful because of the talent, because of the trends, because of the hunger for the content. So it's going to happen, but it's going to take the matchmaking and the access to finance. And then I talked with a woman here who represents an NGO that supports women filmmakers. And she asked me for help teaching people the business side of their business.
Yeah.
So you can be a great producer, you can have a great story, you can have all the talent, but if you don't know how to run the back office of a business, you're not going to be successful.
True.
So I've heard that there's need for training here, that there's a need for animators, that there's too much work for African animators right now and not enough people doing that. So people here are talking about training animators, training writers. I heard there's a writers academy that people are putting together. So it's training in the skills, training in running a business, access to finance, and then those partnerships. So one of the things that we're doing here is our ambassador has an initiative called Atlanta Pambili, because he's noticed the cultural, historic, and commercial ties between Atlanta and African creatives.
Oh, wow.
And so we're building on that. We have a panel on Wednesday about Africa, about Atlanta emerging as a key partner for African creatives.
Interesting.
There's diaspora, there is the industry sort of the industry expertise. Tyler Perry studios are there. Steve Harvey has studios there. There's a natural link between Atlanta and many African creatives. And so we want to encourage that. We want to build that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, now we've got about 1.2 billion people on the African continent. You know, is your initiative, you know, the Prosper Africa, is it targeted to, you know, Cape to Cairo, you know, all territories of the continent?
Yes.
And how do you spread yourselves across so many countries and so many people?
Yeah. Well, I think it ends up that we have priority sectors. There are some geographies where people are ready. So USAID does foundational work where people are not ready to enter the market. They do that kind of work. We only come in when people are ready to go. So when they're doing their Series A, or they're doing their mezzanine fundraise, or when they're ready to be presented and make an investment pitch, that's when we kind of step in.
Okay.
Yeah. So the people kind of naturally rise, the opportunities naturally rise, and then we can pull people together.
Okay, makes sense. But it also sounds like you guys play more matchmaking, right? I mean, you do connections. You connect person A to person C or person B. What kind of situations and people have you met at this event?
As I've met people who have produced a whole slate of content who are looking for a place to distribute.
Interesting.
I met today a woman who has a whole slate of content from women producers. And they just need a place to get it out.
Wow.
I met someone, Voice of America, who has an entire catalog of free documentaries, free films, free content. And they're like, do you know anybody with a channel? And I do. I know somebody with a South African channel who's looking for content. I met somebody today who is interested in putting content out for a share of ad revenues, like an African YouTube.
Yeah.
And he is researching the technology to make it accessible to anyone. You don't have to have a SIM card. You don't have to have a cable subscription. He's going to make this content available. So he's looking for content creators, and they'll get a share of revenues. So it seems like a disruptor model that could be really interesting, especially for young people, especially for young creators. So, I mean, you could tell I don't know the industry that well.
Not
I
really.
love it.
You
I love
love it?
film. Yeah.
I thought you were an actress, actually.
I really am.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm available,
Okay,
good. For the
Good.
people who are doing the diplomat.
Good. Yeah. That's wonderful. That's really wonderful. But I mean, it's an industry that I feel has a lot of potential, as I'm sure you've managed to discover. You know, a lot of people in the country are actually, you know, in need of initiatives such as your own. But if you could tell me, what are your duties as the head of ops in such a huge, you know, corporation or a huge initiative from the government?
So I run the Johannesburg-based office. We have about 7 people. We have 3 different streams that we approach trade and investment in Africa through. We have an investment team, a trade team, and a business development team. We have a representative and our communications team. We have representatives of all of those in Joburg. But then in Washington, we have our headquarters. That's where our coordinator is. And so that coordinator works directly with the White House. And then they work with the 17 different agencies like the Millennium Challenge Corporation, everybody who has an interest in the African partnership. And so a lot of our work happens in Washington, too. So it's the transactions, but it's also the partnerships. And we're interested in forging the kind of partnerships in Africa that offer transparent access to finance, a real partnership where we care about labor, we care about the environment, we care about sustainability, we care about local development in Africa. And so I think it's a really important approach.
Yeah. Lastly, what story would you like, you know, Prosper Africa to be about? When people look at Prosper Africa, they say, you know, these people helped us, and this is what they are about. What kind of story is it that you guys would like to tell?
The ambassador here to South Africa, our U.S. ambassador, Ambassador Brigady, loves to say that we need to be out there making the better offer. That we need to be the people that you come to because you want to work with us, because you can see it's going to be a long-term, equally enriching, mutual, sustainable relationship. So I think that's the story that we want to tell. We're in it for the long run. We're in it for the success on both sides. Commercial success, though, also. We want people to take a commercial return from their interactions with Africa and vice versa.
Ms. Walker, thank you for walking all the way here and blessing us with your presence. It really is a wonderful, wonderful opportunity for us to be able to know what it is that you guys have to offer our continent. We know there's a lot of our viewers out there who have been waiting for something like this, you know. So, you know, for anyone who's out there, would you maybe tell them, you know, let our audience or viewers know how they can get a hold of you?
Okay, Prosper Africa has a website. It's prosperafrica.gov. I think people don't think to look at gov as often as com, and you know. But we have a website, and I'm definitely for MIP right now. I'm taking meetings with people if anybody is interested in doing that.
Fantastic.
But we want to be the catalyst. We want to be available.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, Lisa, thank you so much. May you continue walking in your journey, and we really hope that everything for you goes well here at MIP Africa.
Thank you, and same to you. My absolute pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.